There, that's better. Okay. Let's start standing at the end of your mat. Take both arms up to the ceiling and inhale. And then exhale, circle around and down. We're going to do that 3 times, breathing in as the arms rise. Breathing out as you circle around and down. And again, breathing in, reach. Breathing out, circle around and down, take your hands behind you and pull back for a pec stretch. Let your shoulder blades slide towards each other a little bit. Fill your lungs with your breath. One more breath like this. And then let your arms come by your sides and we'll have our first roll down. Breathe in to prepare. And then on the exhale, bring your chin to your chest and start to roll your spine down towards the floor. It's okay for your knees to bend a little bit if you need to. And you don't have to go too far. Just listen to your own body and stop when you need to. Rolling all the way back up, tailbone under, pelvis lifting upright. And then your head is the last thing to come up. Take both arms up to the ceiling again. Let's have another circle around and down. Clasp your hands behind you and pull back. And then let the arms release back by your sides and we'll do another roll down. Breathe in. And on the exhale, rolling down towards the floor. Let your sit bones feel broad at the back. Let your sit bones rise up to the ceiling. Let everything feel like it falls out the top of your head. Tailbone tucks under, pelvis becomes more upright. And we're standing tall again. Inhale the arms up to the ceiling. Exhale, circle around and down. We've got another pec stretch. Clasp your hands behind you and pull back. Here's your last roll down. Arms come back by your sides. And then on the exhale, folding forwards and rolling down towards the floor. We're going to stay here in the forward bend. And then you're going to bend your knees and push your sit bones to the sky. Bend your knees, tuck your tailbone under and soften. Push your feet, lift your sit bones and straighten your legs. Bend your knees and soften, tuck your tailbone under, round your spine more. And then sit bones get pushed up and we fold a little bit deeper. Last one. Straighten the legs. And then from here, you're going to bend your knees and come all the way down into 4-point kneeling. Knees underneath your hips, wrists underneath your shoulders, and we've got a cat stretch. You're going to tuck your tailbone under, let your head drop in a little bit, round your spine, and inhale. And then from there, let your sit bones rise, your pelvis level, your back will become more flat, and maybe let your eyes rise. And then cat stretch, tailbone under, head tucked in, push the ground with your hands to push your rib cage in at the front. And then roll through the spine into flat back. Maybe let your eyes lift a touch. And let's do that again. Cat stretch. And then flat back. One more cat stretch and then you're going to hold it. So into cat stretch and hold. Using your hands, push your hips away towards your heels. Tuck your tailbone under more as you go. So we're deepening the stretch. Hold the shape. It's called angry cat. And then you're going to roll your pelvis through and then return back to where you were when you started. Cat stretch, angry cat, roll through the pelvis, and then return. So there's 4 points to this movement. We've got our cat stretch, our angry cat. We stay back here and we roll the pelvis through to flat back. And then we track ourselves forward back into 4-point kneeling. Cat stretch. Angry cat. Pelvic roll. And return. One more. Okay, so from here, you're going to take one leg out behind you, slide it around to the side, and now we have an inner thigh stretch. So the first one is done with flat back, and you're just tracking your hips backwards and forwards. Just a couple of times to loosen off your inner thigh. And then we're going to add in that cat stretch, angry cat, pelvic roll, and return movement. So you're trying to loosen off your leg and your hip. Cat stretch, angry cat, roll the pelvis and return. We've got 2 more, and then we're going to do the other side. Okay, so coming all the way back, let the leg come back in behind you, draw underneath you, and then change. So sliding the leg out, bring it out to the side, and we begin just by tracking the hips back and forth. And then we add in a cat stretch, an angry cat, roll the pelvis around the leg, and then return. Two more. Last one. And then you're going to bring that leg back in underneath you and widen the knees out so that you can sit back into a child's pose. Let's do a little side stretch. So walk your hands over to one side. Back to the center and then go the other way. Coming back to the center and coming back up into 4-point kneeling. The knees are going to come closer together again. And now we're going to do thread the needle. So one of your arms is going to reach across the mat and out to the other side. And then you'll come back up and go the other way. Let's do that one more time each side. And then the last one. All the way back up. And then you're going to spin your legs around. Sit yourself in the middle of your mat with your feet flat. Hands on the outsides of your knees. A little bit of a push, not too much. And then rolling back just to the length of your own arm. So your hands don't move. They stay on your knees and they restrict how far back you can go. Roll all the way back up. And we're doing that on purpose to try and control the shape and how it's made. So we're using our arms to measure how far back we're going to let ourselves go. So once you've got to that distance, I want you to tilt your pelvis even more, but don't let your arms move, which means you have to round your spine to get the shape. Pelvic tilt. Ask for more. Back of the pelvis pressing down. Roll it all the way back up. We're going to go a little bit further this time, but let's do that first step. And then when we're ready to go a bit further, slide the hand down the side of the leg and then roll it back up the side of the leg. And again, a pelvic tilt. Roll back. Roll up. Sit tall. And again, a pelvic tilt. Slide the arms. Slide the arms back up. And sit tall. We've got 2 more, and then we're going to end up on the mat, and we stay there. Okay, so this is your last one. We're going all the way down to the mat until we're lying flat. And then from there, bend your knees up so your feet are flat on the floor. Place your hands on your thighs and then begin with some knee floats. And as you float your knee up, you're going to push your hand just a little bit into your own leg. So you're going to create a bit of resistance to work against to help you find your core. We're going to have 2 more. And you're going to keep your legs up in tabletop. So one leg's going to come up and it's going to stay there. And then the other leg's going to come up as well. Maybe arms now down on the floor. And then we do toe taps. Tapping down, coming back up. Tapping down, coming back up. A breath pattern you could follow is inhale away, exhale up. And as your leg drifts away, you try to keep the back of your pelvis on the mat. So the weight of your leg doesn't disturb your pelvis. So you have to try and lengthen your leg away. So lengthen through your core and then draw it back up. Lengthen through your core and then draw the leg back up. Inhale into that length. Exhale as it comes back. 4 and 3 and 2. Last one. Hold your right knee in and let your left leg come all the way down onto the mat so that it's flat. Give that knee a pull towards your shoulder. And then change the grip so that you're holding onto the back of your thigh. Sets your shin free. so that you can straighten your leg to the ceiling and then bend it back to tabletop. And we're going to do that a few more times. 4 and 3, 2 and 1. Hold your leg up, point your foot and flex your foot. Two more. Then you can finish off with your foot pointed. And then we do leg circles. So we go across the body, we circle away and pull back up. You can use your hands to guide. And if the leg feels too heavy, you can also do the whole thing with a bent leg. So I'll let you decide how hard you want to work. So we could have our hands on the floor, or we can hold on to the leg. The leg can be bent, or it can be straight. We're going to change direction and go the other way. Inhale away, exhale, pull up. Inhale away, exhale, pull up. Last one. Pull the knee in and then set it down on the mat. And let's do the same thing on the other leg. So I'm going to pull in to start with. That was a big sigh. And then you're going to grab onto the back of your thigh. And we're going to bend and straighten. So have two more, and then you'll hold your leg up. And then from here, it's a point and a flex. Feeling the weight of yourself on the floor. Okay, pointing the foot, holding it like that, and then off we go into our circles. Remembering you can have a bent leg if you want to. Inhale away. Exhale, pull up. Change direction. Inhale away. Exhale, pull up. Two more. Last one. And then pull the knee in. For another stretch. Hold it there and bend the other leg back up. Cross that held leg over. And now we've got a glute stretch. If you want to feel more, rock the legs towards you and grab onto the back of the thigh. And there's another big sigh. Let's swap that about. So we've got one leg held in. We cross it over. Grab onto the back of the thigh and rock the legs towards you. And you can add a little bit of rocking if it feels okay to do so. And then from there, you'll uncross your legs, but you'll stay in tabletop, and you're going to put your hands behind your head. Lift your head and shoulders up. So a little bit of a fidget is okay for this first one, just to get those shoulder blades out the way so that they feel like they're lifted up off the ground. Let your head press into your hands and let your hands press into your head. Push the back of your rib cage into the mat to hold your head up. And then we straighten one leg and bring it back. And then straighten the other leg and bring it back. It's a modified single leg stretch. I'm going to ask for an inhale as your leg straightens. And that's to help push your rib cage into the floor. And as the ribs push into the floor, let that lift your head. So it's inhale to lift your head. 4 more. And 3. And 2. And 1. We're going to keep going. It's going to get a little bit harder. Both legs are now going to go up. And both legs come back. And I'm still going to use that breath pattern. Inhale my ribs into the floor to help lift my head. Two more. Last one. And then you're going to take your legs up and hold them there. And we're going to do scissors to finish. So the legs split and then they split again. We inhale one split and exhale the other. 4. 2. And then both knees back into your chest. Let your spine come all the way down onto the floor. Your head comes down. Give yourself a hug. Then take your feet to the floor wider than your own mat and drop both knees to one side. And then back to the center and drop to the other side. Back to the center and drop. Back to the center and drop. Okay, so the side that the knees have dropped to, let your body roll in that direction, and then you're going to push yourself up. And we're going to bring yourself to seated with a wide-legged stance. Arms out to the sides. The saw. You're going to twist your body to face one of your legs and then stay there. Let your arms continue on the journey until they also line up with that leg, and then we fold forward. So I have one arm in front, one arm behind, and they reach away from each other. Come back up, and we switch and go the other way. The body twists, it lines up with the leg. The arms continue until they also line up with the leg, and then you fold. All the way back up and off to the other side. There's a breath that goes with this. We're going to breathe out for a count of 3 and 2 and 1. Inhale on the change. Exhale 3 and 2 and 1. Inhale on the change. And exhale. And exhale. One more on each side. Inhale, change. Here's your last one. Uncurl all the way back up and then let your arms drop. Bring the legs together. Pivot around so that you can lie down on your front. Hands just to the side of your own shoulders. Maybe on the mat, maybe on the floor. And then push the front of your pelvis down into the ground to lift your low back bones up into the skin. And as they lift, It will lift your chest and then lift your eyes to tell your spine where to go, and then lower all the way back down. The pelvis pushes the floor. The low back bones lift. The chest lifts, the eyes lift. And then lower all the way back down. The hands hardly do anything. The pelvis does most of it. It presses the floor. The low back bones lift into the skin. That lifts most of your body. The eyes lift, and that tells your upper body where you go next. And then you lower all the way back down. Pelvis, low back, breastbone, eyes. And again, pelvis, low back, breastbone and eyes. Let's have one more. Pelvis, low back, eyes up. And then lower all the way back down. We're going to sit back into a child's pose. Rounding your spine for a rest. And then when you're ready, turn yourself back over. Lay down on your back. And now we do a shoulder bridge. So I'm going to bring my feet quite close to my own pelvis. And also quite close together. Press down through your feet. And lift your hips. You don't have to go very high for the first one. We don't want to freak your hamstrings out. Let's take your time, and hopefully we'll be able to avoid getting cramp. So pelvic tilt. Start to lift your hips, maybe a touch higher. Uncurl all the way back down until your pelvis is level. And then off you go again. Feet pressing down, hips start to rise. So now that we're on the third or the fourth one, you're probably good to go with quite a decent amount of pushing, and hopefully your hamstrings won't freak out. So press those big toes into the ground to activate your inner thighs. And then uncurl all the way back down. All the way up with an inhale. All the way back down. Let's have two more. Rising up. Uncurling all the way back down. Last one, pelvic tilt and rise. Uncurl all the way back down. Let's do a spinal rock again. A little bit of width with the feet. Both knees to one side. Back up. Both knees to the other side. Back up. Okay, when you come back to the center, you're going to rock over onto one side. Reach your arm out long so you can rest your head on it. It is okay to prop your head up if you would rather. I prefer my head down. And then heels together. And we want a nice long line. Head, heart, hips, heels. And then from there, just some oysters. So I'm going to take my top hand and press it down pretty gently onto the ground. And I'm going to use that pushing hand to push my leg up. So just at the point of lift, I put a bit of force through that pushing hand and use that force to help push my leg up. So we've got two body parts that we can use to help lift the leg up. The hand and the side of your pelvis. So the side of your pelvis that you're leaning on, also push that down to lift your leg up. So we now have two pushing parts pushing into the floor. It's like a seesaw. If you want something to go up, something else has to go down. So we have to find the floor to find the ceiling. Let's have 2 more. And hopefully, by pushing the floor, you'll get a higher knee and a stronger glute contraction. Let your knee come all the way back down. Pull your knees in towards your chest just to stretch your glutes a little bit. And then we're going to push ourselves up and spin our legs around to the other side. So we've got the same thing again, a long straight arm if that suits you. And a head resting on it. I've got my microphone on the side of my rib cage. That was foolish. I'm now leaning on it. There we go. Just move it for a moment. Hand on the mat, heels together. And now we are opening and closing. Oysters. Floating legs. Sorry, floating feet. And see if you can find those 2 pushing points again. So we've got our pushing hand and also our pushing hip. And the more that you push the ground, the higher your knee should go. God, I'm full of big sighs today. Wonder what that's all about. Let's have 4 more. And 3. And 2. And last one. Okay, let the knees come down, draw them in a little bit. And then you're going to push yourself all the way up to seated. I'm going to see if I can fix my microphone. Is it possible? Yes, there we go. Okay, so we've got our legs to one side. One leg on top of the other, hands hooked around your ankles. And then you're going to reach one arm up to the ceiling. It's awkward on purpose. So we've got our legs all squashed up, one on top of the other, our hands hooked around. We're in a side bend, and it doesn't feel the most comfortable place to be. But see if you can work your way through that. We're trying to create a little bit of lift in the waist out of those folded legs. So we're going to go from side to side. And when we're in this shape here, you're going to push your hips down into the ground to lift your waist, to lift your rib cage, to lift your breastbone. And hopefully feel a little bit taller. One side. And then the other. And one side. And then the other. Coming back to the center, taking those legs around in front of you, soles of the feet together now, and we've got an inner thigh stretch. I'm going to hold on to my own toes and just rock from side to side just to see what everything currently feels like. Then I'm going to let myself fold forwards. And use my feet and my hands to kind of pull my pelvis forwards. I can put one hand behind me and give myself a nudge as if I'm trying to put my pubic bone right down on the ground. It doesn't matter how far you can go. It's fine if your knees are up like this. Just do whatever's happening today is okay as long as it's not too uncomfortable. Okay, let's take those legs out in front, give them a little shake. And then they go around to the other side, hooking your hand around, reaching one up to the ceiling, and you side bend over. So I'm side bending towards my feet. And then away. And then back up. And towards my feet. And then away. Let's have 2 more. Here's your last one. Side bend over. And then all the way back up. And from here, you're going to put your hands down onto the mat, pivot your knees underneath you, And then let your body weight lean forward so that you can form a push-up shape. So your shoulders are over your wrists, your knees are down on the mat. And then we've just got maybe 6 small push-ups to finish. I have 2 more. And last one, and then sit back onto your heels to finish. There is somebody at the door, so I'm going to have to finish this live stream and go and find out who that is. But thank you for joining me today, and I will see you all next week. Goodbye.